Yes, good morning. It is that time of the week again, fitness fragrance review time, and it's the last one of my brother's coffee collection line, which I haven't given a full fitness fragrance review, and it's called Affogato. If you haven't seen these fitness fragrance reviews before, though, essentially I do a morning workout, so I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while wearing and reviewing this fragrance. And we review it on 5 categories. So we'll look at its price slash value for money, look at its versatility, so how much you can use it in different situations. We'll look at its projections, how much I noticed during my run, and obviously during my workout. We'll also do a room spray test to see how much it fills up the room. So if a colleague came in, would they notice it? We'll then look at compliment factor. Do I think you can get compliments? And then it's longevity, where I'll spray miles before I go to the gym. And then 3 hours time, once I've had my shower and my workout's done, we'll smell the arm just to see if I can still detect the fragrance. So yeah, this is a fragrance I've actually smelled before. I did a review on it on the home treadmill, just initial impressions. And it was my favourite one at the time. It was one I really enjoyed. Just kept going back, couldn't stop sniffing my arm. Absolutely loved it. And yeah, I cannot wait to give it a full review today to see if I still like it as much as I did when I reviewed it a couple of months ago. So yeah, what I'm going to do quickly now, we're going to go through the note breakdown. What is actually in this? What is making me love it just that much? So I've got my old phone at the ready. What is in Affogato by Fragrance World? Well, the top notes are coffee and sweet milk. Obviously, you'd expect coffee to be in it because it is a coffee collection fragrance. But there's the sweet milk that I really detect when you spray this in the opening. It's very creamy. It's almost like this ice cream vibe. I think on Fragrantica, they actually call this ice cream. You definitely get that nice sweetness that complements it. It's not like a dark double espresso type coffee. This is much more of a sweeter one where the milk is just as prominent as the coffee. Then you go into the middle. Obviously, complementing that milk is the vanilla and caramel, giving that nice lighter, sweeter gourmand. It's not dark, it's not a real roasted coffee or anything along those lines. And then the base, tonka bean, amber musk. These are kind of notes I think tie the fragrance together and make it a bit smooth. This is a really nice, well blended, smooth fragrance, and it does have that clean vibe. Again, musk I think gives a bit of a clean laundry vibe. You do get that, but I have to say the main thing I'm really picking up from this, just give it another spray. It's certainly, yeah, it's that vanilla and milk, which I think is giving that kind of ice cream vibe, you know, like a 99 with a flake. And then you've got this kind of nice muskiness, and then coffee. They're almost at the background, but the real strong thing you detect in the opening here is definitely that sort of sweet vanillic milkiness, and it's delicious. It's really delicious. I don't see this so much as a coffee drink, more like a coffee dessert. I can't get enough of it. It's been a good couple of months now since I smelled this fragrance, and honestly, my opinion hasn't changed. It smells absolutely amazing. I really can't wait to review this one. So what we're going to do, we're going to go out and do the first 2 categories on my run. So we'll look at its price slash value for money and its versatility. I smell good. I tell you what, I'm not the biggest fan of working weekends, but if the payoff is I don't have this Monday morning rush that everyone has today, I'm much more happy with that. And to be honest with you, the fact I can do a fitness fragrance review wearing an absolutely great fragrance today in Affogato is like a double bonus for me. So let's talk about price slash value for money for Fragrance World Affogato to start with. So looking at it, it looks like it's actually the cheapest one from that coffee collection line. I looked at it about 3 months ago, you know, potentially buying it myself, and the price hasn't changed. It seems to be around £17 to £23. I'm just going to go straight into it. For me, price slash value for money, 10 out of 10. This smells really high quality. The price is quite cheap, but the actual notes in this smell high quality. They don't smell synthetic, and what I like is they've blended really well. There's some odd sort of combinations here. I know coffee and musk has been used in fragrances before, but I'm never a big fan of that. But when you've got like coffee, musk, caramel, vanilla, there's quite a lot of different notes going on here. But look, they're all kind of more suited to that winter time on the whole, other than musk. But to get them to blend as well as they have here is amazing. Look, the coffee, some people might want a bit more in this because it's part of the coffee collection line, and maybe some people would like a little bit more caramel, but you've got caramel macchiato for that. You've got double espresso in this line if you want a stronger coffee. This one's all about being creamy and milky, and it is so more. That vanilla milk combination is delicious. It just smells to me like mainly like a vanilla sort of ice cream, a milky ice cream, a sort of whipped cream with caramel and coffee in the background, and the musk just making it a little bit lighter. And it's made this real high quality, for me, statement type scent that I just can't get enough of. It's very rare when you get scents where you just can't stop sniffing your arm, and I always think that's a sign that it's a top scent. And look, when I think of brands that are charging around £17-18 for their fragrances, I'm thinking of Calvin Klein, I'm thinking of Dupe, that sort of price range. This is as good as them. This is better than them in my opinion. If those brands release this fragrance, I'd be saying, well, I'm getting that all the time. This may not have the name, but the quality of it is absolutely spot on, and I can't not give it a 10 out of 10. It is brilliant. It's blended to perfection. The coffee and caramel take a little bit of a backseat, but they're there alongside the musk. But that vanilla milk combination, it's a winner. So yeah, 10 out of 10 on to versatility. Okay then, so on to versatility for Affogato by Fragrance World. How much can you dress this one up? Dress this one down, different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well, I think let's start with the seasons. This is definitely more of a full winter scent. Now look, musk and vanilla sometimes can be utilised in those more warm weather type seasons. They can almost give off a bit of a sun cream vibe. I'm not a massive fan of those ones, but again, with all the gourmand notes in this, the caramel, the tonka bean, the amber, it's definitely more built for that winter season. I would say it's one of those scents as well, it's not an everyday type scent. That I can find sometimes those milky vanilla scents can be a little bit headache inducing, and while I like this one, and I do like those scents at times, I wouldn't want to wear them on, those ones back to back days. For me, this is built for more of those statement occasions, more your suit and tie, maybe you're going out to impress someone at a networking event. But with that musk and vanilla, which again is quite powdery, look, if you want to wear it on a cool spring day, go ahead, that's what it is at the moment, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. I still don't think it's suitable for things like running and workouts. It will certainly become too cloying then. But other than that, I think this is one that you just want to keep in your bag, keep in your collection for those moments where you want to make a statement. A little bit like, your sort of Bentley for Men intensives, where you can just wear them, sometimes for yourself on a day where it's a little bit cooler, but also when you want to dress up and make a statement without wearing one of your real high-end type scents. I think that's got everything about this. It's got that seductive, alluring quality for a date night, and I think you're going to leave a good impression. What I like about it, it's definitely got uniqueness. I can't think of anything that smells like this, and for me that just gives it that extra statement quality where you feel classy. I think there's a real sense of quality here. I'll go back to that word I said earlier. The oils in this smell great. I've not applied any of these fragrance world scents before. That's really alcoholic in the opening, and it doesn't feel well blended together. Everything's well blended together. It's very smooth, and for that reason I think anyone, to be honest with you, late 20s up to 40s, 50s, I think will like this. I do think it is a little bit vanilla, a bit milky for maybe an older gentleman. I can't imagine my dad really wanting this one. I think he'd want more of a dark roasted coffee, maybe mixed with a bit more of like a leather or pepper or something. But other than that, for most people, I think it's completely unisex. I think it's a great fragrance, and I think it's pretty versatile for what it's meant to be, a more cool weather, winter type statement fragrance. But yeah, you're not going to want this one every day, and I think it's better than just being a casual done reach scent, that's for sure, and certainly not workouts. So for that reason, I'm going to give it about a 7 out of 10. Ticks the boxes of what it's meant to be, but you're going to want a more wearable summer citrus to complement this one on a more daily basis. But yeah, other than that, fantastic fragrance. When we get back, we will talk about projection. How much am I noticing it during my run at the minute? And then we can do a room spray test. Workout done, honestly, the difference it makes not having a cold anymore. Finally got over it, it's taken 2 weeks, but it's now time to test for projection. So if you haven't seen this before, essentially I'm going to spray my room. We'll do 7 with this one. Sorry, Jack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a good atomizer on this one. So essentially now I'm going to go downstairs, have a coffee, talk about how much I noticed the fragrance during my run. When we come back up, we'll see how much this fragrance has filled the room. So if a colleague came in, say this is an office, or you're at home and you spray in your room, would anyone particularly notice it? Would they mention the nice fragrance that you've got on? I'm also going to spray my arms 3 times on each side. We'll do 4 today, because normally I'd spray my room 10 times. So we'll do 4 on each side. And this is a test for longevity, so it's just about 9:10 now. It'll be about 12:10 by the time I leave the gym. Obviously, I'll do a workout and a shower, do a walk there as well. We'll see if I can still detect this fragrance after. But yeah, let's head downstairs, have something to drink, and we'll talk about projection during my workout. Oh, I've got green tea today, trying to up my green tea intake because honestly, I just live off coffee otherwise. But enough about that. We're talking about coffee and fragrances today. So Affogato. How much did I notice the fragrance was Affogato during my workout? A lot more than I expected. In fact, I can still smell it now on my coat. We're talking 8, 9, 10 times, and it didn't just it wasn't like a fleeting scent. It was there for a couple of seconds and then it went away. Then it came back where I was going to the toilet, whether I was stopping, even sometimes just when I was on the go and the wind was behind me and I was warming up, it was really kicking off. But it was very pleasant. Look, it's not a workout scent, it's very strong, but where it's still quite milky, vanillic, and can be too much at times, that caramel, the amber, that slightly darker note in this, and the coffee, of course, as well, does help just tame that powderiness, which I find too much in certain fragrances. A little bit like Lush Fur, as I mentioned the other day, too powdery for me, too heavy. This one, it just complements it really well. That coffee in the background alongside that caramel just tames that really strong milky vanilla without overtaking it, without overpowering it. And honestly, right now, it would be a 10 out of 10 for projection. I don't know how much it's going to stick in a room though. For some reason, I don't feel this is a room filler. I think this is one that's going to do better on longevity overall, but the projection during my workout absolutely surprised me for the right reason. Will it fill a room? Not sure. I think it's going to be one where people need to be closer to you and it will just project all day in your scent bubble. But what we'll do, we'll finish this green tea, we'll head upstairs and then we'll give our score. Okay then, Mum and Dad are upstairs, so I'm just whispering, but in we go. How much can I smell the fragrance? Well, it's undoubtedly there. I don't think it's really nuclear strong, but I think it's absolutely bang on what you'd want. If you were wearing this as a fragrance in the office in the day, this is one that people are going to come in, they're going to notice it. And I think if I'd stood in the room for a little bit longer wearing this fragrance, this would actually be a real strong scent, but in a good way without being too cloying, too overpowering. I'm going to give it another 10. I am going to give it another 10 because for me, this can be headache inducing if you wear it all the time. I really do still think that milky vanilla, I love it. I really love it. But would I want to wear this 3, 4, 5 days in a row? No. But for that one day you're going to wear it, the one day you want to get, notice the projections, you want it to be really strong, whether you're trying to impress someone or just try to get nice comments through the day. This is exactly it. And I think people will ask, oh, have you got that lovely spray on again if you start wearing it again every other week or something? I think it's that type of scent, and that projection there is bang on. It's not going to put anyone off. They're going to want to get close to you, if anything, and they're certainly going to want to come in the room that you're in. So 10 out of 10 for projection. To be honest, the run just surprised me more than anything. I thought this would be about a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It's got to be a 10. It's really top. And it's a lot better than the other ones in the collection. Double espresso strong, but I think this one might even be better at filling a room because it's those sweeter, sticky, more gourmand notes in this that I really think is the dominant thing. It's the reason why the projection's so good. But anyway, what we're going to do, get myself changed, and then we're going to head to the gym and we'll talk about compliment factor on the way. Okay then, so moving on to compliment factor for Affogato. Do I think it is a compliment getting scent? Well, judging by the fact I cannot stop sniffing my arm, yes I do. I think it is much more in that sort of seductive, alluring type vibe of fragrance as well, where you'd certainly want to use it more for date nights than an everyday scenario. That's certainly where I'd see it's best, but I haven't really got anything to obviously go on in terms of compliments for this. Obviously it's not my fragrance, it's my brother's one, and he's gone through quite a lot of the juice in the bottle, but he's never said to me, oh yeah, loads of people at work mentioned that fragrance today. And he would do normally if he's had a lot. When he used to work in a sort of DIY shop, he'd get loads on Bentley and come back and say, yeah, I got millions of compliments on that one today. And he's never done that one with this one, but he has used a lot of the juice as well, which says to me he must like it as well. I think it is one that can get good feedback. I mean, we had a conversation about this one the other day. So my dad's birthday's coming up, and we were saying, oh, what could we get him? And we'd never get him this one particularly. Again, I think it's a little bit too vanillic for my dad. I think he'd want something with a little bit more depth. That being said, when my brother's got all his fragrance out, that was the first one that came to my mind. He asked me, he said, oh, which ones do you like the most out of my ones at the moment? And that was in my top 2 or 3. It's just so pleasant. And I think the fact it is a unisex scent is going to make it mass appealing to a lot of people. I would certainly not worry about wearing this around others. Look, sometimes people don't like those sort of Middle Eastern vibe type scents, and it has got a little bit of that in it. That's probably coming from the amber in this. But overall it's a very mass pleasing, easy to put off scent that I don't think anyone's going to feel uncomfortable wearing for those sort of statement occasions. So look, because it's a little bit limited in the sense that you can't wear it, you probably wouldn't want to wear it every day, and you know, if you're sort of doing gym workouts or whatever, walking the dog, it's probably not the best scent for those occasions where you might need someone for a compliment. That's the only reason I can mark it down, but overall I'm being really picky here. I just haven't really got anything to go on to tell you, yes, this is a huge compliment getting sent compared to some that I've had many on, like Turd Hermes, for example. So for that reason, I'm only going to mark it down a little bit. I'm just going to give it a 9 out of 10. Just a 9 out of 10. But of course, if we do get any at the gym today where I don't think you should use it for compliments, we would bump it up to a 10. Okay then, so it's just gone 12:05, so about just under 3 hours since I applied the fragrance. It's time to smell my arm and see if we can detect anything. Yeah, the longevity on this is incredible, but I must say, I was at the end of my workout starting to get a little bit sick of that sort of milky vanilla smell, just because I was lifting weights, I was getting warm, it was getting a little bit to that point where I was starting to find it a bit headache inducing, a bit nauseating, but it is undoubtedly amazing for longevity. And sometimes longevity can be really good on synthetic fragrances, but they can be really harsh and almost too aggressive to the point you're desperate to get it off. This isn't like that. I honestly think this longevity is good because the quality of the oils are really good. I've said that at the start. I think this is a well blended fragrance. I think they've really put a lot of effort into this one, and it's probably about 85% as strong as it was when I applied it. And I mean, that's amazing. I'm going to have to give it another 10. I think this is the first time I've ever given 3 10s in a fitness fragrance review before. But for me, the biggest shock today has definitely been that projection. Look, I sometimes expect longevity to be good because, you know, you have got a lot of sweet gourmand notes here, and coffee can be a strong fragrance, but it's not the coffee that's dominant here. It's not the caramel. It's that milky vanilla, and it is so pleasant. It is really, really nice. It's just, I think now where the sun's starting to break out a little bit more, the day's warming up. And again, it's not built for exercise. I must reiterate, I'm using it while doing fitness, you know. So if you're actually using it in a situation where you're meant to going for a night out, I'd still be more than happy with that longevity being as strong as it is, and it wouldn't be as headache inducing. Certainly could use it in a room where there's a lot of people around, and I think you'll be the one that stands out amongst the crowd. It's not going to go missing in there. 10 out of 10 for longevity. So what we will do, we will head back, I'll count up all the scores, and yeah, give my overall thoughts. We are back. We are finally back. What is the time? It is 1:38. Just looked at my clock and I've got a watch on, and I was going to look at the steps anyway. Anyway, 42,193 steps, all while wearing the Fragrance World's Coffee Collection Affogato. So what was the total score based on the 5 rounds that we did today? It's done amazing. I know it's done amazing, but it's got 46 out of 50. That might be a record. And obviously when I was walking back, I kind of knew it was going to be a high score today because I knew I'd given quite a few 10s. And I was thinking, you know, have I let my own personal bias here take over and given a higher score than maybe what the fragrance should get? And then I was kind of going back to what the rounds are. You know, is it good value for money? Well, I don't think £18 in today's world is ever expensive in the first place. I think that's become pretty cheap. Versatility was the lowest round I gave it, and I'm pretty sure most people would say the same. Coffee, gourmand, vanillic freshness, you're not going to use them for workouts and maybe daytime wear. And look, and some older gentlemen like this, but I know that my dad would find it a little bit too sickly sweet. So I've tried to be pretty honest there, pretty objective, you know, and not let my own personal bias take over in that sense. Longevity and projection, all those things, I can't fault it. Look, I've washed my hands about 3 times since I've been home. I can still smell it. I could still smell it in my room when I came back in a minute ago as well, because it was obviously, yeah, it's just, I had the window shut, it's been a cool day, and it's just very strong. It just sticks in the air. Those sticky gourmand notes stick in the air. And the compliment factor, yes, maybe that I could have marked that down a little bit more. I gave it a 9. I've got no experience. You might get loads of compliments with this one, and I personally think it's a statement scent. I really do. But again, maybe that's where it may fall down on someone else's scoring. But I think this is a compliment getting scent. When you look at the notes, vanilla, caramel, coffee, they are highly compliment scents. So I'm hoping people would also agree on the whole with that one. But ultimately, I'm just looking on Fragrantia. I was thinking, well, what would people say? What could I say that's bad about this? There's nothing bad. Again, it's all just opinion at the end of the day. And that's what people are saying here on the comments. Yeah, it's 4.2 on Fragrantica. And most people, when they have marked it down, have just said, it's just not for me. And if that's the case, then that's fine. But that's not enough to say this is a bad fragrance or anything like that. It's just personal opinion. And my personal opinion is this is one of the best coffee fragrances on the market. It's not coffee dominant, but it's just more, you just keep on smelling that, yeah, milk vanilla combination is so nice, and it just has that quality. But it's a really hefty bottle as well, really hefty bottle, which adds to that feeling of quality. And I'm very happy my brother's got it. I definitely need to get it myself. And yeah, I think that's the highest score I've ever given, 46 out of 50. For me, I think that's absolutely justified. I didn't realise actually there's like a little ice cream in the middle there as well. And that's what it just reminds me of. If you like the smell of ice cream, or you like that sort of idea of an ice cream gourmand type fragrance, go for this one, because it is a real stunner for a good price. But yeah, thanks for watching today. Got a few ideas, a few different concepts coming up as well soon, because I've got a little bit of holiday now, so I look forward to doing those, including a trip to London soon. That may come out before this one. But yeah, another fragrance longevity test. So yeah, hopefully you'll join me for that. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.